We do liaison work with the National Police, and one night I was just a young boy there and an old man, and the National Police brought in an old woman who had been caught stealing and started beating up on her. I stopped that action and told them to let her go, because I had that authority over the National Police. The boy consulted with the old man and left and came back with an egg. Now, eggs were very valuable there. And he gave me this egg and said, in English, "You are a gentleman." So I took the egg and with my trusty jackknife, busted a hole in one end, sucked the contents out, consumed them with appropriate gusto, and then with a ballpoint pen drew a picture of the boy's face on the egg and gave him the eggshell back. And that established a relationship with that boy. So the next time I was there, he said, "I want to show you something." And he took me to this farm, which walked up over a berm that was behind the National Police headquarters, and about 50 yards on, there was this farmhouse and these big kimchi pots in the yard, run by this old couple. And they had been taking in these children. We had no conversation at all because we really couldn't talk much. Everything was done, kind of sign language and so forth. But they did make it clear that they needed clothing for the kids. So that's how it's. So I wrote a letter back to Berkeley to my family, asking for help getting clothing for the kids. And it got published in the Berkeley Gazette. And my brother, who's 3 years younger than me, he was going to high school then, and he was an assistant manager at a local movie house. And he had the idea of having a Saturday matinee performance, and the price of admission being clothing for the kids. They advertised that, and they got a whole bunch of clothing, and they boxed it up, and they sent it over to Korea. And I got a call from my CO saying, "Woody, we've got a problem." I said, "What is it?" They said, "We've got a whole bunch of boxes here and no place to put them." The APO, which is the post office, was about as big as this room here. And this mound of boxes was sitting out front. So I requisitioned a Jeep and a trailer, and a good friend who was from Scotland, of course we called him Scotty Glover, helped load the thing up, the trailer and the Jeep. And Scotty had to drape himself over this pile of boxes in the trailer to keep it from tipping over. And we drove out to the farm and distributed the clothing. And as we were doing it, we realized there was an awful lot of clothing that wasn't suitable for kids. My buddy, the boy that I had met in the National Police headquarters, he knew what to do with all that excess stuff. And so we made a trip into Daegu and sold it on the black market and for a bunch of rice and building supplies. And we started the construction of a dormitory. There was a Methodist chaplain at the base, and I went to him and told him what was going on, and through him arranged to get some funding through the Methodist Church for the establishment of an actual orphanage. And then it was out of my hands, but it wound up becoming an official orphanage.